finding the right e-bike these days can feel overwhelming. With so many models flooding the market, each promising the best performance, range, and features, it's easy to get stuck in an endless cycle of comparisons. But if you're like me and want something that can handle just about anything, an all-terrain e-bike might be the perfect solution. And this guy right here is no exception. This is the EVERCROSS EK30. It is safe to say this really isn't your typical e-bike. The EK30 stands out from the crowd with this eye-catching retro design, taking inspiration from the sleek lines of a cafe racer. Honestly, when I first laid eyes on it, I couldn't help but be impressed by how well the vintage aesthetic blends with modern e-bike features. The 20x4-inch fat tyres give this thing a very strong, sturdy look that isn't just for looks. They actually offer incredible grip and stability, whether you're cruising through the city or taking on rougher terrain. It's obvious this is one of those bikes that turns heads, but beyond its looks, is this thing a truly practical solution for all? So the burning question is this product truly worth the asking price? Well, let's first start by unboxing it. Unboxing the EK30 is pretty straightforward. It's mostly pre-assembled. About 90% of it is already put together, so you really just need to finish up a few quick steps. Once you get it out of the box, it will take you around 10 minutes to finish putting it together. I won't go into too much detail here, so we can jump straight into looking at the design first. But nonetheless, it is a relatively easy setup procedure. Now, when it comes to design and build quality, the bike really doesn't disappoint. And in my opinion, this is probably its strongest selling point. It has that classic retro charm with modern functionality, and I think they nailed the aesthetic perfectly. The frame is sleek, yet surprisingly sturdy, and the matte black finish gives it a bold, timeless look. The attention to detail here is really quite good. Those carbon look mudguards and that brown leather style seat just add a touch of class that balances out the ruggedness of the fat tire. It's like a mix of old school style with a futuristic edge. This bike is definitely one of those that people will either love or hate. There's no middle ground. I've got to say the build quality on this bike is seriously solid. It feels sturdy and well put together. No creaks, no wobbles, even when I've taken it on some uneven roads over the past few weeks. The frame is made of high quality steel, which gives it a really strong, durable feel. That does mean it's got a bit of weight to it, but honestly, it's distributed well enough that it's still pretty manageable. It's definitely not the lightest bike out there, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. You won't have to worry about it feeling flimsy or cheaply made. This thing is built to last. As a whole though, the frame is far too heavy to deem it a portable option. It can be highly tricky to push or carry, especially if you need to get it upstairs or navigate a tight spot. It's something to keep in mind if you're looking for a bike that's super easy to maneuver off the bike path or around obstacles. Even those fat tires, which look really cool, feel pretty substantial, and they're definitely not just for looks. They offer awesome grip so the bike feels super stable whether you're cruising on pavement, tackling gravel, or even hitting some lighter off-road terrain. It's pretty clear the design is all about giving you the confidence to take this bike pretty much anywhere. The larger surface area of the tyres just helps spread the load, which means less pressure on any one point, providing excellent stability and comfort no matter where you're riding. What's even more impressive is how well they absorb shocks. If you're riding over cobblestones or potholes, the tyres, combined with the dual suspension system, do a great job of smoothing things out. I have to admit I was genuinely surprised at how well the bike handled rough patches of road, even on trails where I expected a more jarring experience. The fat tyres really take the edge off those bumps, making the ride much more comfortable than I anticipated. That said, do keep in mind the trade-off here is that these fat tyres do add a little extra weight to the bike, which can make it feel a bit heavier when you're lifting it or maneuvering it in tight spaces. But when you're out riding, that extra weight isn't really noticeable unless you're trying to start from a dead stop on a steep incline. Otherwise, they offer fantastic performance in terms of both comfort and handling. The front suspension fork on the EK30 is pretty solid, at least from what I've experienced. When you hit those rough patches, the fork compresses, absorbing the shock and saving you from those jarring jolts you'd get on bikes without good suspension. I actually took it over some pretty bumpy terrain, and honestly, it felt a lot smoother than I thought it would. The suspension isn't too soft though, it's firm enough to keep you in control, but still gives you plenty of cushion when you need it. The rear suspension holds its own too. It's tucked into the frame and while it's not the most high-tech suspension system out there, it gets the job done. It works together with the front fork to absorb shocks from the rear wheel. Together, the two suspensions really make the ride a lot more comfortable, and I was honestly surprised at how well the bike handled uneven surfaces. That said, one thing to note is that the suspension is not fully adjustable. You're stuck with the factory settings, which might not suit everyone, especially if you prefer a custom feel. But for most riders, it's more than enough for everyday rides and light off-roading. Now, another thoughtful design element is the integrated battery compartment, which is both sleek and functional. You can easily remove the battery for charging, and it doesn't disrupt the overall look of the bike. The battery performance on the unit is by far one of the bike's strongest points. The bike is equipped with a 48-volt 15 amp-hours lithium-ion battery, which when combined with the bike's 250-watt motor, provides a solid amount of power for a variety of riding conditions. The battery is fully removable, which is a great feature for charging convenience. Having said that, on a full charge, you can expect to get around 50 to 60 kilometers in pure electric mode. This is ideal for most daily commutes or city trips. However, if you decide to use the pedal assist system, which I do highly recommend for a more natural riding experience, the range can extend to about 100 kilometers. This makes the EK30 a great option for longer rides or even weekend tours, especially if you're mixing up riding in pedal assist mode to conserve battery on longer stretches. Now, moving on to that front screen, I will say it is pretty easy to read and gives you all the important info you need while riding. It's right in the center of the handlebars and it's nice and bright, even when you're out in direct sunlight. The display shows your battery level, speed, pedal assist level, and how far you've gone, all in real time. The battery percentage is especially helpful because it gives you a clear idea of how much power you've got left. The controls are super intuitive too, so you can easily switch between pedal assist levels with just a quick press of a button. The 7-speed transmission system is a great addition, especially when it comes to tackling different terrains and climbing hills. Having a variety of gears at your disposal gives you the flexibility to adjust for the best performance depending on the riding conditions. For instance, on flat roads, you can shift to a higher gear for a smooth, steady ride, while switching to a lower gear helps when climbing hills or tackling rougher terrain. I found the shifts to be smooth and responsive, with really no noticeable lag when switching gears. I was pleasantly surprised here. The ride quality is definitely another big plus. With the fat tyres, dual suspension, and the overall design, it makes for a smooth and comfortable ride. As for the motor and power, the 250-watt motor does a great job for what this bike is built for. It's solid and gets the job done without overdoing it. It's more than enough to get you up hills and handle typical commutes. But let's not get anything mixed up, this is not a powerhouse. The bike is capped at the UK legal speed limit of 15.5 miles per hour, so you're not going to break any speed records here. However, the pedal assist system kicks in smoothly and instantly, making it easier to get up to speed and climb inclines. For most riders, especially in urban settings, the motor provides a consistent level of support for what most people will want. But here's the thing, if you're used to e-bikes with higher power motors like 750 watts or more, you might find this one a little underwhelming on steeper hills or if you want to push it harder. While the motor does fine on flat terrain, you might notice it struggles a bit on tougher inclines or during more intense off-road rides. It'll still get you through, but you'll probably need to put in a little extra effort when the going gets tough. All in all, I honestly think the EK30 is a solid choice if you're looking for something a bit different. Being a UK road legal e-bike, it can handle a bunch of different terrains without a problem. The mix of that cafe racer design, fat tyres, dual suspension, and overall solid performance makes it a fun and comfortable ride, especially for casual cyclists or anyone who wants a practical bike with a bit of style. That said, it's not without its downsides. The heavy frame can make it slightly tricky to carry around, and the portability factor isn't going to win any awards, but I really don't think that was the intention here. It's supposed to be a durable, strong option. Also, while the range is great for most day-to-day use, if you're a long-distance rider, you might need to plan for recharges during those longer trips. But honestly, if you want something that's powerful enough for most terrains, looks awesome, and meets UK road regulations, this bike ticks all the boxes. For the price, the EVERCROSS EK30 really offers excellent value. And with that all said, be sure to check this product out in the link in the description. Let me know what you think. Till next time.